So there's a study by Cornell University that actually says that if you just spend as little as 10 minutes outside, it can actually improve your just being happier, and it can also just reduce stress right away, just 10 minutes outside.
Nature is still one of our most reliable health providers.
Interacting with nature can help reduce chronic stress and the negative health impacts that come with it.
Something about being in nature is calming to humans. We seek environments that seem calming and protective to us. And so they've actually started to show that people's brains work differently when they're in nature compared to when they're in an urban setting. So it's thought that being in a natural setting can change the way that we think, and that it affects our emotions, and it reduces our anxiety levels and our stress levels.
Nature isn't just a nice to have. It's fundamental to our health.
Research has shown that being in nature can reduce blood pressure, lower heart rate, reduce muscle tension, and even lower the production of cortisol in the body. This makes people report that they feel better, with overall improved health after spending time in nature.
For this study, participants went for a walk, either in a natural area, which was a grassland with scattered oaks near Stanford campus, or an urban area, which was the most highly trafficked street near campus. And we also scanned their brains before and after their walks. The participants that went for a walk in a natural area had decreased levels of this rumination or brooding, kind of beating oneself up, than did the participants who went for a walk in an urban environment.
A view of nature from your classroom can actually make you perform better in tests.
How does nature impact your health and well-being?
Well, it impacts it in a lot of ways. Without nature, we wouldn't have our air to breathe or our water to drink. It calms down your nervous system. It gives you somewhere to go. It's fun to explore. It's our lifeline. And so if we get separated from that, our health starts to really decline.
Politicians are spending more and more money on social media, but is it worth it? Last year, research firm Borrell Associates estimated political campaigns spent more than $1.4 billion on digital advertising in 2016. That includes ads for video, mobile, email, social media, and online searches.
Campaigns also embrace the internet because on it, messages go out to voters without commentators or others directly challenging what the candidate wants voters to hear.
We will end this war. We will give health coverage to everyone. We will be energy independent.
The role of fundraising on the internet also is huge. In fact, most campaign websites have a fundraising appeal as the first page web users see.
Social media helped to put Obama in the White House in 2008, but a mistweet can just as easily cost a politician his job, as we learned from Anthony Weiner earlier this year. Developing a strong social media following isn't enough, especially if, like Newt Gingrich, 92% of your Twitter followers are not human. You also have to keep your followers, a lesson Obama learned the hard way when nearly 37,000 unfollowed him in a matter of hours after the president started spamming the handles of members of Congress in an effort to mobilize his supporters on the debt ceiling crisis.
And then with the advent of social media, you have a way for leaders or people who influence other people's thought to directly influence or directly communicate with those that follow them, whether we're talking about Twitter.
Here's my prediction for the 2020 presidential election.
Even on the social media site TikTok, created for fun, there's plenty of political talk. While Facebook plans to let users opt out of political ads, you might run across a candidate streaming live video. It helps us explain why social media is having a major influence on this year's elections.
It seems from the interference that we saw in the election that there is data being used from social media and your online presence in order to determine which side you're likely to vote for and then showing you misleading information. It was just initially to undermine people's belief that democracy is essential to society.
Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your opinion on how the political information that is circulating on the internet impacts voters?
I think it's very important. I think the information that's out there, I think how we get our news now is through social media and internet. So I think that's the main source for most of the voters now, especially the younger voters. And I think the main important thing is that once they have a piece of information and they get a specific ideal, sometimes they stick to those ideals and then they just dig deeper into that specific political idea. So I think it's important how there's a lot of social media that pushes the left or pushes right, and it just depends on someone who's new, who's never heard anything. Maybe if they hear the right wing agenda, they'll be leaning towards it because that's what they've always seen, and the same thing with the left wing agenda. So I think it's gonna play a significant role as we go through the years.
Memory is learning that has persisted over time, information that has been stored and in many cases can be recalled.
Memory, it is the thing that threads and unifies our overall sense of being. So without it, we become stuck in time, right? And we lose our identity. We used to think that memories were really stable, that you form one memory and it's not ever changing. It's just stabilized in your brain and that memory forever is. So now we know that for all intents and purposes, when you recall a memory, you're constantly updating it with new information.
After you've forged meaning, you need to incorporate that meaning into a new identity. You need to take the traumas and make them part of who you've come to be. And you need to fold the worst events of your life into a narrative of triumph, evincing a better self in response to things that hurt.
I've had wonderful family, wonderful cousins, wonderful aunts, uncles, memories of Christmases, memories of... You have to create, John. You have to go through like creating your memories.
Memories shape our lives.
Memories make us who we are. The memories we have, good, sad, bad, it kind of creates a path for us and makes us like a path for us to go in the future. Our memories also connect us to people who impact things in our life, good or bad, and people who also impact in our life. So memory is kind of like a chain that makes your life you.